many of us seen this beautiful picture online and thought it was fake?
What the hell is it? Is it like a, wait a minute.
I need this to sink in, so we just go and hang out for a minute with our friend.
It looks like a person that's an animal.
It's a person mixed with an animal.
And it's got legs and wolves.
And a blood. Is it a person?
A personal?
Yes, it's two things.
It's
A
a
human?
dog. It's a dog, a human, and a pig.
Alright, this is how we do this. Everybody at home gets to do this. Everybody in the class. Sometimes it's just stuff that's just so fantastic, you gotta look it up yourself. You look up Lyle Armstrong and human bovine hybrid. You could just Google it. Lyle Armstrong, human bovine hybrid. And you see all the research come up for yourself. Or you could look up Phil L. Hullaire. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you got the spelling. And human bovine hybrid, and all the research will pop up for you. Alright? Our lovely, beautiful white folks are taking human cells and merging them into cow cells in hopes of finding a way to create some stem cells without black folks.
And that's what they come up with.
They're looking to create some stem cells without black folks, so they're just trying anything.
But do they have to, they still need a black person to start the project?
They still need black cells,
What is
no
that?
matter what.
They always
That's not a black person.
No, this is what they're dealing with once they start mixing the human cells with the cow stuff.
But the face of it, is that a human and a cow face?
It's a human cow. It's a how.
So what
It's a how.
human cells? They use it for patients.
No. But once we start injecting them, even if they start with black cells, once we start injecting them into cows and creating what we read. See, this is why sometimes when we're looking at a Quran, or we're looking at a Bible, or Bhagavad Gita, or pyramid text, or the Egyptian Book of the Dead, or Coming Forth by Day, any of those old ancient texts, sometimes we read stuff, and from what we know of today, it's just too crazy to be real. But we got to take all that stuff with a grain of salt, because we live in a very small box where the information is very controlled. It's a very small box where the information is controlled, because information is the most powerful thing you can have. That's the number one resource. But we're not educated that way. We think about oil, think about the internet. The internet is only popular because we put stuff on it. The information that's on the internet is what makes the internet a valuable resource, not the internet intrinsically itself. Because if there was nothing on the internet, nobody would go on it.
This might sound weird or whatever, but
With this picture up, nothing sounds weird. That is the green. This is the green light to say anything right now.
well, with all your knowledge of health and everything and science, do you think that creature has like a human feeling, human personality? Like, is it sad? You know what I'm saying? Or is it strictly animal?
That's a good question. Now you asking me my opinion.
Right.
My opinion is that even like wood, rocks, and nails do. That's my opinion. Like everything does. But when we deal with vibration, things that vibrate within your same range of vibration, we think of as real. Things that vibrate outside of that, we can't conceive. So for instance, there's a lot of sounds and stuff we can't pick up. Dogs and whales and dolphins can pick up things that we can't.
Right.
So to us, those sounds don't exist.
Right.
They're not real.
Right.
But another animal with a deeper depth will pick that up and laugh at us like, you didn't hear that?
Right.
Same thing with our eyesight. Same thing with all of the other physical avenues that we have to experience what we know of as real. So when we look at rocks, for instance, I like to use rocks for example. A rock is either vibrating way slower than we are, or so fast that it looks like it's still. But it's outside of our dynamic. But rocks are at the core of what gives us life. Because that's how nature uses rocks and mountains as a bank for minerals. That's where the minerals are stored at. So as weather happens, the rocks get chipped and broken down a little bit, put in the water, now it's in the water cycle. Now the plants absorb it, break it down, take it from the form that it's in, make it ionic, and now we can eat the rock, that same rock, and now make us healthy. You just brought the life force into our body. But we look at that same rock a few versions earlier, and we just kicked that junk. But that same rock we just kicked is the joint we going to GNC to buy for $10 to get some calcium or some. So it's perception. But this is where we at, and this was in the 90s. Like this was where we were at. We somewhere else right now with it. But we so behind, like we still worry about cell phone technology. We ain't there. Samsung coming out with the watch joint already. No, the watch cell phone. Yeah, Samsung Galaxy Gear. The watch cell phone. You don't even need a cell phone no more. It's the watch now. And if you lose your cell phone, the watch can call your cell phone.
So this, you know,
Yo, I love my generation because we're just at the perfect point where we remember where that stuff didn't exist. Like my children, they don't get it. I'm like, yo, you know there was no cell phone. Like daddy had to know numbers, like real numbers. Everybody, your auntie, all their house, I had to know the number. Everybody number. Now we dumb. We can't remember phone numbers. Your cell phone break, it's over. You don't know nobody's number. You wait for them to call you.
Yep.
They mad as hell too. Why you ain't call me in 2 weeks? Yo, I dropped my phone in the water. But wait. It's so deep that that's now recognizable now. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know I had dropped my junk.
Splice. Was there the movie Splice?
Splice, yeah. Listen, we so heavily programmed that certain things is not real, that even when they sit them right in front of us, we still don't see it. Because I seen this on Facebook years ago. And I was like, oh yeah, Photoshop. I was like, yeah, that's Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was going through some research last week. I was like, see if I can find that damn picture. Bam! I was like, that's crazy.
Well, is that a the feet come out as a baby or something? Or?
These a little house. This is a big house.
Oh my god. But wait, that same thing with the meat, that's like what's coming into us. You figure the hormones from the human and mobile hybrid coming to us.
Listen, this is where they at. So you can take this two ways. You can take this as an actual photo, or you could take this as a replication of what they kept in the laboratory. But when you look this up, this is actual serious business that they invest in billions and millions of dollars into. Right? Go ahead. Hold on before you go, Jay.
No, in the I don't know what the hell like to use that word, freak shows, but like in Coney Island years ago and all, they had people like this. It looked like maybe another body was getting ready to form, and it didn't. And so the two legs maybe would come out the apple.
Right, because stuff like this, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so important for us to really understand that a virus is nothing more than foreign DNA or foreign RNA. All right? So everybody who's not aware, Abundance Child's here. Finally, she got the food, so if you're hungry, your stomach growling.
But
She has food back there that does not have foreign DNA and RNA in it. Okay.
What kind of a cell, that what I'm trying to find out from you is that a Caucasian person's cell? Should we take that from the skin color because it's the same color?
Well, no, but what you could take from the pinkness, I mean, that doesn't necessarily have to be because it's a Caucasian, because we have black folks that lose their pigment too. Once you're doing things, once you leave the bounds of nature, everything's a go.
So do you think that, did they start off with a new, actual strong black man, and they kept him in a cage, and they start extracting?
No! We dumb! They extracting our stuff. Look, that's what this is for. This is just a small example. They're extracting our stuff all the time because we're not alert. We don't know what's happening. Every time you go to the hospital, first of all, when you do a blood test on somebody, all you need is a drop. Like a drop. Like when you take a pen and you just touch the pen to the paper, that little tiny size drop is all they need. But they take a whole valve.
Sometimes 2.
And sometimes they write 2 or 3 valves.
Take 1 out, take the other
When
one.
my daughter was in the hospital, I had to stop them. Like, yo, dude, stop. You just took blood 20 minutes ago. It's the same. It's the same. They coming back every 20 minutes. We just need to take some blood, dude. Stop. You're giving her orange juice so she can produce more blood so you can take more blood. Because they selling it. It's money. When we go to a funeral, are the eyes open or the eyes closed for the dead body?
They're shut.
They shut, right?
Hold up there.
Or they put fake ones in.
Because my stepfather is an undertaker now. I can verify that.
Go ahead.
All of them, Ronnie. So yo,
No.
close the eyes.
Look, no. The coroner do it.
Before it gets to the
The coroner do it. The coroner gets that money. And the prices have changed. Back in 97, I don't know if I put it on here, but I should have put it on here. In 97, they were selling eyeballs, corneas in specific, for $350 wholesale, or somewhere around $300 wholesale from the coroner. So you die, the coroner snatched the eyeballs, and he sell it to these lovely folks all over because they got eye banks everywhere. Eye banks. They don't have Apple products in the eye bank. Okay?
They got organ.
How much time does it get to harvest those? Because I thought there's more.
Oh, the coroner grabbing them joints ASAP. Coroner grabbing them joints as soon as the body come in.
He's riding around with a truck full of plastic eyes.
Well, most times they just close them. So you don't know that the eyes are gone. We don't pay no attention to that. Eyes in the brain. Usually the eyes in the brain for sale first. Because some of the other stuff in the body, you have to check and make sure it's still good and all that. But the eyes, the corneas, like the front part, those can go. Because it's usually not too much damage to those. When people lose their sight, it's usually stuff happening along the optic tract and behind the eyeball. So it's not the actual cornea. All right, now who do they want to grab those from? Think about it. Black folks. Yours melanated. All right, so look, there's just a few of them. There's so many I couldn't put them all on one. Okay, but you got the Michigan Eye Bank, Illinois Eye Bank, North Carolina Eye Bank, Louisiana Eye Bank, Kansas Eye Bank. Then you got this is what they grabbing. I just want you to be able to see how it looks. This is what they grab. So the eyeball still there, but they grabbed that $1 million. They grabbed that money off there, and they selling them joints for like $350. And this back in the '90s, so the price done went up.
But see, they can do the stem cell research just from that.
Well, not even the stem cell research, because they got plenty of stem cell research. Black folks going to hospital, abortion, they getting plenty of stem cell stuff. This is why they're doing the hysterectomies, because the endometrium is the richest part of the body for stem cells. And it's from black women. So you go in there with anything, they taking that joke out of there. And they see a little cyst or a little fibroid. You're like, no, take these birth control pills. Don't worry about it. And come back and see me in 6 months. Birth control pills are going to grow.
What about vasectomy?
So when they get real big, same thing. Just snatch that right on about you. We'll grab that. That joint for sale. Everything's for sale. So they get you to donate it and then they sell it. See, because we stupid. They get you to donate it and then they sell it. And then we can't find our economics. So we have economic conversations about something else. No, we're going to get these stores. Oh, no, we're going to get this real estate. Oh, no, we need to come together and open up businesses. No. We just need to do the proper paperwork to secure our bodies. Your body is the source of wealth. So if we start locking down the paperwork on our bodies, no, my body's in a trust agreement. They're not doing anything with this. You got to pay for this. $350 coming to me for these eyeballs. My joints ain't on wholesale. I'm getting the retail money because once the coroner sell them joints for $350, and this is in the 90s, the price has skyrocketed since then. These banks was turning around selling them for $3,500. So the coroner sell it to the bank for $300. The bank turn around and sell it to the hospital for $3,500. And the person who eyeballs it was, they, you know, the families, we barely can bury somebody.
Right.
Somebody could die in the black community, life stops. Zoop. We gotta sell houses, cars, we in the pawn shop, getting rid of the jury, everything gotta go.
But that's no different than slavery, what they were doing when they were cutting our penis and everything else. You think they were studying that thing too?
Of course. Of course. But the difference then versus now is they gotta do a lot of work to cloak what it is that they doing. So most of us don't even know that these things like this exist. We don't even know that there's banks where they're storing eyeballs at. And they making millions of dollars. There's banks where they're storing livers at, kidneys at. They love gangbangers. No, they love gangbangers. You die nice and young, all your stuff still fresh. Any organ that the bullet didn't hit still fresh, except for the lungs. You know, they blowing. They blowing. But everything's still good. The liver's good. They in there grabbing the eyeballs, everything. Boop, 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 boop. And the parents can't even pay for the burial. They getting ready to grab $150,000, $200,000 off the body though. They selling everything. Everything's for sale. All right, and they got all these banks, every type of bank you can imagine for the kidney. So then you got to think if you know anything about banking, right? Because now you need brokers.
That's right.
It's an industry. Now you need a broker. You have a salesman. Somebody has to have the meeting. If I'm the coroner and I got the joints for $350 and I'm about to sell them to the banks now, I'm in business. Who's gonna give me the most money? I got my man Jay. Yo, Jay, go down there and set up a meeting with them soap jokers because eyeballs getting hard to come by. So I'm gonna need $400 for these Jones. So now we got brokers. And now once we have a monetization set up, what's the next thing that come in? We got bonds. Now we can trade these jokers because these are banks. The banks deal with bonds. So now your body parts is monetized. That's why you gotta be unhealthy. All right? That's why you got to be unhealthy. And look, the colleges is teaming up with the banks. So don't think that this is a secret. The only people that don't know about this is us. All right? Oh, here, go right here. 1997, $335 wholesale by the coroner, $3,400 by the eye banks. All right? So now, this right here, Federal Regulation 45, CFR 46. You can look that up. All right? These are the laws that's on the books that pertains to your body and your flesh.
But aren't they going to pass amendments to disprove that law or take away that federal regulation?
What is the federal regulation? Exactly. Just wait till you find out what it is. And right now, they may do that. But right now, they don't have to because most people don't even know about this. They don't know about this because they don't know any of this stuff that we just talked about. Nobody knows there are eye banks that are grabbing your eyeballs from the... Nobody knows about that. That's not on House. They didn't show that on House, the TV show. Even though it come on House, we don't know about it. Because that's not on House, it's not on ER, we didn't see it. So we don't know. There's no reason to change the law until people get hip to it. And then we start popping up like, hold on, we got to trust for that. Oh, you sold them joints? Yeah, that's good. You sold them joints because now I'm going to sue you for $1 million. Those was protected by paperwork. Read your law books. No, it's in your book. Yeah. If there's no claim on the flesh, then they can do whatever they want to do with it. See, that's the thing now. You have to have a claim on it. So when you go into the hospital, they could do anything they want to do with your body parts unless you have paperwork that says something else.
Do you present it to them when you get in the hospital? Like, yo, here's my paperwork.
Ignorance of the law does not save anybody. So most times, if they don't ask you, they're supposed to ask you. That's a part of informed consent. But because they don't ask you and they don't have the conversation with you, if you don't let them know there's paperwork, that's their fault. Because if they would have asked you and did their job, they would have found out there was some paperwork.
Right.
So once you produce it later on,
Yeah.
it's over. Now you do some money. All right, but we have more, and this is the Supreme Court case that went in correspondence with that. This is a big issue, but we're not paying attention to these things. We looking at gang violence. We're missing the biggest gang out, white folks, right? So this Supreme Court case, Moore versus Regents University of California, decided that patients have no rights to their flesh once it's removed. All right. So I call this the no backsies law. No backsies. All right. No backsies. Once you give it to me, that's it. Like my partner Jason, right? Always got to use you for example, right there.
Yeah.
Jay had this beautiful Apple book bag doing nothing, collecting dust.
It was holding books, man. I had books in there.
Right, holding books, not holding apples, just holding nothing, right? So, once I threw it on with the Minister Enqi, you know, he like, hold on, that's my bag. You my bag back. I'm like, no, it's my bag now, bro. It's too late. Same thing like when we go to the hospital. When they cut stuff out of you and take it out of you, like you go in the hospital and have stuff removed. Like if you got a tumor or cyst, you go in there, you're saying, hey, can you take this out of me? So they say, okay, cool, I'll snatch that right up. Now you can't turn around once you see what I do with it and say you want it back or you want some of the profit. Hold on. You asked me to take it out, I did what you asked. Just like the children, the women that go in there for abortion. You asked me to take the baby out. Now what I do with it afterwards, that's none of your business. Unless you have some paperwork that says something otherwise. That your flesh is not to be used this way, that way, or the other. Anything monetized, blah, 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 blah. You can put whatever you want to put in your paperwork on your body because it's yours.
Okay, so when so-called financially impoverished people go in, and they say they have their paperwork and all that, what's going to make them respect that, knowing that they probably don't have enough money to sue them? And how did they come after this doctor up in West Philadelphia for those abortions? You know, to say it's true.
Well, that's different because they didn't come after him for trading flesh. They didn't come after him for the black market body parts. They came after him because he was doing the abortions without a license. So basically, white folks were saying, you getting all that money, you ain't give us no cut. We got a problem with that. So they didn't have a problem with him doing the procedures or the fact that he was killing people. They kill people in the hospital all the time. That's a part of standard procedure in the hospital. That's one of the things they train the doctors on. Come into the emergency room to tell you, you know, we tried. He was a fighter, you know. My condolences go out to the family. All right, guys, let's get lunch.
Wait, what's going to make them respect the paperwork if you have the paperwork? You say you're a welfare recipient, you coming in there with paperwork.
Well, no. The thing is this. You're not going in there with the paperwork because the paperwork is for the court. When you put the claim on them for what they did to you in the hospital. And doctors are scared of lawsuits because hospitals get rid of doctors. That's right. Hospitals get rid of doctors because the hospital got to keep getting money.
But where is your paperwork filed and how do you know it existed?
Well, with a trust, you don't have to file it anywhere. A trust is a private thing. It just means that you have on the record whatever you're doing with your body. See, that's where the law of informed consent comes in. The doctor has to ask you before he does anything to your body. Unless you give him the green light, which we do a lot of times when we sign all those papers when we come in on the entry. And we don't look at it, especially if we're in pain. We just sign it. And they passed a law in 1996 that says if it's an emergency or deemed an emergency, that lovely little word deemed an emergency, the doctors have carte blanche to do whatever they need to do to quell the emergency situation. What we don't know is anytime we make an entrance into the hospital to that big side that says emergency room, which is where most of us go, even if it's just a fever, we're in the emergency room. Everything in there is deemed an emergency, so now you up on the chopping block to be experimented on.
Are you still allowed to get care even if you don't sign a consent form?
Of course, they can't turn you down. And you don't necessarily have to not sign them. See, what it is a contract. So you read it, and anything you don't like, you put a line through it, initial, and then have the person that's right there say, look, I need your initial right here too, and then I sign at the bottom. So I'm saying, yeah, you could do what you need to do, but nope, that's not cool. That's not cool. When I got to in the car accident, I didn't want them to do anything because I realized there was no real doctors in the hospital. The whole hospital was students. I was like, oh, yeah, niggas practicing. I can do this. I'm in a Enqi. Everybody in there was practicing, and I don't mean like, okay, a doctor has a practice, they practice. No, everybody was still learning. Like nobody completed school yet. So these were people that wanted to know medicine, not people that didn't know medicine. They wanted to know medicine. Like how people in this room, they here because they like the stuff that, oh, okay, cool. So now y'all in the hospital, whoop, somebody come in, we just, here, put on a jacket, and we give you a knife, and you figure something out. Like, hell no. Not on me. And when you look at the papers, it says it. Right there in front of you. Well, this is a school of learning students. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, you don't have the green light to do anything to me, student. So we gotta see what that paperwork is we signed. Alright? So these were the guys though. Moore versus Regent. These were the actual justices that decided patients have no rights to their flesh once it's removed, etc. So I just thought it was good that I put the picture up because we see our boy, right?
That's Clarence.
Now you know that's Clarence. You know Clarence in the building. You know Mr. Pubic hair on the Pepsi can. Right? Because this is all part of the system. This is all part of the system. So you gotta be able to function within the system, and in order to do that, you gotta know how the system's set up. Alright? So if you don't know, then you can't do any better. So that's what our job is. We stand up in the front of the room and give you the info, so now you know. You could go home and look that up. Federal regulation, 45 CFR 46. All that stating is if you don't put a claim on your body, and so you give away your flesh, once you give it away, no vaccines. Alright? Now they don't have to click the donation thing on the driver's license. It's over. They have a thing called presumed consent now to counteract informed consent. Presumed consent means you didn't say no. So we just go ahead and... Now see me, I try to give the benefit of the doubt. So it's like, okay, cool, I know everybody don't have money, everybody don't have insurance. So maybe it's people that really needs these things, and that's why they put the laws on the books. You want to give the benefit of the doubt. But that's not the case. Because the people that don't have insurance and don't have no money, they don't have the $3,500 to purchase the eyeballs if they need them. So it's not going to the needy. It's going to, you know, Kanye West girlfriend, vampire facial and all that, Angelina Jolie. You know, they just buy new body parts. They wear them like shoes. My eyes are wearing out. I'm gonna grab some new. No, I'm gonna grab the brown ones. You know, brown ones. Cause I'm gonna do the brown hair probably all winter. So get the brown eyes. Running through you. All right. So this is what we gotta understand. This is probably my favorite book. I always bring this up in class because I want people to buy this book and read it.
What are you talking about?
I sell books. Hold on, let me say this. Minister Enqi is in the business of selling Minister Enqi's books. Let me be clear on that. I'm a hater. I'm from the Bronx. I'm a hater by nature. So y'all understand that. So don't think that I would just be coincidentally, by happenstance, promoting you to purchase someone else's expensive book. I would be directing you to my book. Like, no, well, Minister Enqi's books, you see, right? Grab that, right? I put somebody else's book up there, know that book is 10 times as good as I'm telling you it is. Because otherwise, I'd be telling you to buy mine. Alright? But this is a medical textbook. They use this in medical school. They study it. They study this book in medical school because this chronicles the history of medicine for Europeans. Because when you read the title, Mummies, Cannibals, and Vampires, it throw you off. until you study the book and you find out that that's the whole history of their medicine. Eating other people. That's what they did. They eat folks. And they tell you they eat folks all the time. But we see True Blood, we think it's fake. Hold on. Some of this stuff got to come from somewhere. Like when I was in school, I was in grade school when Jeffrey Dahmer came out. I still remember it like it was yesterday. But my mind, like I be seeing things in Enqi vision. So my mind just be operating differently. So when Jeffrey Dahmer situation came out, the first thing I said to my brother was, yo, who taught him that? Because I know mommy taught me how to make eggs and bacon. Right? Somebody taught you how to cook. Somebody taught you, okay, you put the eggs. No, you don't put the eggs in that bag because they're going to break. And you don't put the eggs right there because you don't freeze them. You got to put the eggs in the refrigerator. So somebody had to tell him, you put these body parts in the freezer. You put these body parts in the fridge. These you can put in Ziplocs. Like somebody had to teach him that science. You don't just know how to prepare people. You got to learn how to do that. See, we don't know where we at. See, we don't know where we at, then we'll know what we up against. Bill and John at work, when they look at you, you don't know what they thinking. Looking juicy.
Cool. Now, all right, but it brings on. Okay, now, not to be next, but when we think about.
You love it. Go ahead. Because you were waiting for the cannibal part the whole class.
But the same thing I know we're being cannibals. We're talking to be cannibals, but also when you think about certain sexual acts, don't you think certain sexual acts is also an act of cannibalism when you're eating?
Yes, but wrong class. What you was gonna say, brother? We got kids in here today.
It sounds different, but do you think?
But some acts of cannibalism is okay, but that's another class.
Do you think that it's a European way of determining whether a person has prostate cancer by sticking your finger in another person's hiney, right?
Jay. No. We just had this conversation the other day, and I said that from the time homosexuality is a Greek thing. So they introducing it to us, and the reason why it's such a booming thing now in our community is because everybody's hormones is out of balance. Never before has so much estrogen been put into our community. And estrogen is what's making, but then you're like, okay, well, some people was born like that. No, some people was born, some men is born with unnaturally high amounts of estrogen in their body. And now that the gay marriage thing is cool, they going out adopting babies like there's no tomorrow. And they're on estrogen diets because a lot of them want to develop female physiques. So to do that, they eat estrogen-based diets. They load it up on soy and all of the nuts and things that helps produce estrogen. And then if I have a child, what does my child eat? My child eat what I eat.
Right.
So now the little boy gonna grow up, even though I'm telling him, oh no, you can have any type of lifestyle you want, baby. Just because you're a boy doesn't mean you're a boy. I mean, you can choose. Right there, I done already promoted homosexuality by just telling my son that he may not necessarily that you're not stuck being a son.
Right.
You know, you have options. No, you don't. My house, decision already made for you. Once you came out, you had something, all right, you're a boy. But the estrogen is what's blowing up the hormones, and that's throwing us off. All right, so with that being a Greek thing, we're being converted. So that's why I said, in all ways, white folks is trading with us. They're trading with us. They're trading with us. So we just got to be on our game. We just got to be on our game. But this book right here chronicles everything. I'm talking about, you see how this is a bookstore. This got books all over the place. When you went in to see the doctor, the neighborhood doctor in Europe, this is how they had dead bodies. Now, mind you, there was no hospitals. The doctor, you came to see him at his house. So think about the type of person you got to be where you just got dead bodies all over your house. Like this how your living room look. Okay, hold on. So you need an arm? Okay. Well, we got this one from a dude last week. He was like, all right, no, probably not that. Oh, well, let me see if you need a leg. All the formulas. Cooked eyebrow mixed with cooked left butt cheek, and like, This was their medicine. This is why there's no more mummies. They ate them. They ate the mummies. That was the main ingredient. And you know who is the main exporters of the mummies? Our fake brothers outside. The Arabs. Our fake brothers outside, the Arabs, those was the ones who exported all the mummies. And they was eating them too.
But the Asian does the same thing.
That's why black folks is in the class all by ourselves. But we confused because we let everybody be our brother when they making some money off of us. See, the Arab come in the neighborhood, he's your brother because he want to have sex with your sister or your girlfriend. That's number one. And he wants you to keep coming into his store to buy his groceries. He want to sell you your pornography, sell you your tobacco, sell you your alcohol, and still say, I'm a Muslim. Pray 5 times a day. But that's against Muslim law. Any person as a Muslim that participated in any line of sin is just as guilty as the sinner. So if it's illegal for me to watch pornography, it's just as illegal for you to sell the pornography to me, package the pornography, record the pornography. All parts of that is illegal. You can't do none of that as a Muslim. So then you gotta look at these Arabs. You sure you Muslim out? You sure you Muslim out?
Dr. Ben used to say that this whole thing about anthropology and archaeology, he says a bunch of bull because he said everywhere they dig, they only find us because they ate up everybody that was in their history.
Correct. Correct.
From wars, they ate the dead.
Look, this is not, wait, this illustration. This is from Virginia when they first got here. When they got off the boats, they ain't have no food. This is the people that came with them on the boats.
They ate the Indians?
They ate each other before they started eating the Indians.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So it was a family thing. If you wasn't directly family, then you was on the table. Once we ran out of other, like the people that helped on the ship, the staff, then start grabbing Indians. Indians start disappearing. Then it got crazy. That's why the Indians, no matter what, the Indians will fight back. Black folks won't, because we missed a lot of stuff. See, the Indians seen this. They seen this. So they're not confused forever. They know who the white man is forever. Like I know who you are. You're the white. You do this. You're not like me. Black folks will argue down. No, we've all come from the black woman. No, we're all from the black. But everyone's from Africa. Dude, we're not all from Africa. Okay, so.
But I thought we were the Indians.
We're the original Americans. But when you talk about the Indians, see, that's where the confusion come in. Those red folks is the folks that came across the Bering Strait. People that was pushed out of China, which is the reason why they built the Great Wall. They built the Great Wall in China because the original Chinese people was the first 2 dynasties black folks. They built the Great Wall to keep out the Europeans because they was eating folks. But once they started getting overrun, they went out the back door and they came from North America. But some of them had already got cannibal disease. That's one thing about partaking in the flesh. Once you start tasting flesh, you develop the craving because now you have the parasites and the bacteria in your body that makes you want to also eat flesh. So this is how people sit around like, damn, I just want me a chicken sandwich from some buffalo wings. It's the same thing. This is a different meat. So once you taste a human, it's like, ooh, man, give me some legs or something.
Well, how did they see them first? How did they see them first and didn't see us?
Who?
The Europeans came here.
When the Europeans came, it was much later than the red folks that came across the Bering Strait.
Where were we?
We had everything pretty much. The red folks, we had them colonized off. We were fighting battles with them. And when the Europeans came here, William Penn and his folks, see, this is the part of history that we missed. There was different groups of white folks. There was white folks that was getting hung and killed by white folks. When we look at the Underground Railroad was white folks. You had Harriet Tubman going to the actual slave plantation to tell Cass, let's go. But black folks ain't have no houses. So they hid in the basements and all that in the closets of white folks' houses, the Quakers. That was William Penn's people that they had contracted with the original black folks to stay here and set up. We gave them herbs, cleaned them up and all that. So they felt the duty to us. So those were the white folks that hit us and we whatever. the other white folks, the English, the London, Spanish, you know, the Spanish, the same folks that's telling you they're Puerto Rican, like, oh, your brother Puerto Rican. Okay, not my brother. Watch it. Watch it. I know why you like to stab folks up. See, go back to the last slide. They still got that in them. All right, talk to somebody that's been to jail. Talk to somebody that did some time in jail. They'll tell you. Puerto Ricans? My daughter's Puerto Rican. My oldest daughter's Puerto Rican. Trust me. It's Puerto Ricans right here. They would chop a nigga up in a heartbeat. They prefer a knife sometimes to a gun. Like, no, I got it. Take care of everything. All right? See, we get caught up in the language. Language confusion. Somebody with white skin, they speak Spanish, we think they're Puerto Rican. No, you're a Caucasian that speaks Spanish. Somebody with dark skin that speaks Spanish, we think they're Dominican. No, you're a black person that speaks Spanish. Language confuse people. Language just means who you was colonized by. That's why Dominicans and Haitians was confused for so long. They didn't know. It's the same black folks on the island. There's a little tiny river that done dried up now. It's not even there no more. You could just walk over it. But that's what separated Haiti and DR. But after the French Revolution, after the Haitian Revolution, the French people and the Spanish people divided the island in half. They said, look, you take the niggas from that side, we'll take the niggas from this side. Everybody's in slavery. So the French taught their black folks French. The Spanish taught their black folks Spanish, and they started to think that was somehow identical with their nationality. They have nothing to do with it. That's why when you go from DR back to Spain, the Spanish completely different. If you go from Haiti to France, the French totally different. Just like if you go from America to London, the English totally different. Because you got a broken down system. They just told you just enough so you would know what to say. When I say get the water, I mean get the water. That's all you need to know. So, alright. So, this is what we're going to find. So, we're going to touch on HIV real quick. Because when I say certain things about HIV, people are like, oh, man, this Enqi, you crazy. Okay. So, United States Patent 4647773 by scientist Gallo, March 3rd, 1987. All right, this is a patent on a specific type of the HIV retrovirus. All right, 5676977. This is another patent that they had on another strain of the HIV virus. All right, they patented these joints. All right, so you can't say you don't know about it if you haven't patented. All right. So let's go to the next slide so we can start wrapping. Oh wait, stop. That's it. Stop. Let me get some sound. Damn, I need some sound. This is not the Joe. Where's Jamel? We're going to get some sound. We're going to get some sound.
And we have to go back on slide. Hey, I want to go back on slide. Watch the sound. I'm trying to help you out some dope. Oh no.
All right.
Oh, he's back.
Sound is on the way.
I was trying to copy down some notes. Sorry.
Yeah, you still got a second to copy stuff down.
Oh, you blocking it though. Oh shoot. You need to sit down here. I'm just copy. Yeah, take your time. I'm still copying notes. I'm sorry. I'm still in knowledge. That's all.
All right, so. All right. All right. See, that's my black brothers and sisters. One break and we at the food table. 5 seconds. All right.
77. Okay, I can go.
Let's see if we got sound. No, the sound gotta come on from this jump. All right, there we go.
Say those words, we're trying to cure cancer.
All right.
That's a really good question, and why it's hard to say we want to cure cancer. We do. And I think sometimes it's hard actually to think that you might actually succeed.
Now wait, let me say this real quick.
Patients that we're treating on this clinical trial have absolutely no other option.
All right. So now look, I want y'all to get this. So just pay attention to this because this is good. They have re-engineered the HIV virus to cure cancer. And this is not theoretical. They have already done it. So now, what that proves in terms of my research is 2 things. A, HIV is a protein or virus that gets rid of white blood cells because cancer is a accumulation of uncontrollable growth of white blood cells. Number 2 is that white blood cells are cancer. So you're going to see how these white folks done re-engineered HIV. And also that tells you that they can do anything they want with it. That whole search for the cure, dude, y'all re-engineering it to do other stuff. And why are they doing that? Because people is learning about HIV, learning how to beat it. So now the money that they thought they was going to make off HIV is not there. See, when you patent something, you patent it so you protect your profit. That's why I showed the patents exist. So you patent it to protect your profit. So now if people can find ways to beat HIV without going to the hospital and buying them expensive ass medications that kill you in the long run, then you lose the money. So now that we invested all this money into HIV, we got to find a way to get our profit from somewhere else. So we go into the laboratory, we tinker around with it. Boop, 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 boop. Now we've got the cure for cancer. Right? How many people seen I Am Legend? Say me. Don't raise your hand. Say me.
Me.
That sounds dead.
Me.
We got to do a shake, stand up and shake exercise in here. Wait, no, I'm trying. She explains to her husband. I want. No. I'm not stopping for that. I want him to get it. The premise of the movie was it started off with what? No, before the virus. Research for what? A cure for cancer. And the cure was a virus. See, that part of the movie was like 3 minutes. So most of us, we glanced right over that part of the movie. The doctor, the white lady was like, well, no, see what happens is you got to imagine a virus as a car on the highway. And the car on the highway is out of control. And what we do is we don't get rid of the virus. We just take out the driver and put a different driver in the car. So now it's different. So they cured cancer with a virus. The virus mutated, because that's what viruses do in the presence of other viruses. Went crazy and turned everybody into cannibals. Cannibals. You gotta get this. You gotta see these white folks. It's like right out in the open. Got the virus, which gave you a taste for flesh, right? Because it turned people into white blood cells. That's why even the black people that got infected with the virus in the movie turned pale white. And they couldn't do what? Come out into the sunlight. Okay. All right. Let's get ready to go down because this is where white folks is at right now. Bring it back right here, Jay. And put the volume.
And I think sometimes it's hard actually to think.
Say those words, we're trying to cure cancer.
That's a really good question, and why it's hard to say we want to cure cancer. We do. And I think sometimes it's hard actually to think that you might actually succeed.
Patients that we're treating on this clinical trial have absolutely no other options left.
Where they at?
These are patients who are
Philadelphia.
unfortunately destined to die of the disease and in a fairly short amount of time.
Emily Whitehead, 554.
So Emma is incredibly matter-of-fact about all of this stuff. This was a child who had her leukemia come back twice. The parents were looking for a miracle.
What we've learned how to do is train the immune system to recognize and then kill tumor cells.
It's a procedure where we collect their T cells, and they are infected with a virus that will genetically change them so that they will now see and react against their leukemia cells.
And we actually use the HIV virus to do that.
So you're taking the HIV virus and infecting healthy cells with it to help kill cancer?
Yes. The virus has been engineered so that it can't cause disease anymore.
Help kill cancer?
Yes.
I just gotta bring
Against
that
their
back.
leukemia cells.
And we actually use the HIV virus to do that.
So you're taking the HIV virus and infecting healthy cells with it to help kill cancer?
Yes. The virus has been engineered so that it can't cause disease anymore.
Against their leukemia cells.
And we actually use the HIV virus to do that.
So you're taking the HIV virus and infecting healthy cells with it to help kill cancer?
Yes. The virus has been engineered so that it can't cause disease anymore. But it still retains the ability to reprogram the immune system so that it will now attack cancer cells.
So the virus has been reprogrammed so that it can't cause any disease anymore. So how are they telling people that HIV is uncurable? The white boy is just saying he reprogrammed it so it can't. See, that's why I'm saying we got to do this. If we're not doing the research, they just telling black folks anything.
We call those modified immune cells serial killer cells. Each infused cell can kill more than 1,000 different tumor cells.
But the reality is the dramatic responses of cancer to new treatments are very unusual. We need to make it clear when we talk to a family that it may not work. Emma was given her T-cell treatment, and within a few days, she was very sick. She had breathing difficulties, she had blood pressure difficulties. We knew that she could not have gotten any sicker without actually dying. But then a remarkable thing happened. The T cells were growing, they were starting to fight the cancer. Within hours, Emma's fever disappeared.
It was like the calm after the storm. The clouds went away. And she woke up and there was no leukemia. When that child survived, it was, of course, an amazing event.
All right. So do we think about that video?
Very informative.
Very informative, to say the least. White folks have re-engineered the HIV to kill cancer. Go back 2 slides, Jay. They got patents on it. You can only patent something you create.
That's right.
That's a part of patent law. If I patent something somebody else create, I gotta have the receipt to show where I purchased it from him and he gave me all the rights to it. That's a part of the patent law. Like, it gotta be mine for me to patent. And we can't patent stuff that's natural. We gotta patent stuff that we create. So, you got 2 patents right here. So, and we see they got the technology because they went in the lab after they see they wasn't getting no money. Folks is calling up, you know, Minister Enqi's and Dr. SEBI's now for HIV instead of going to the hospital. So they had to re-engineer that HIV thing. Okay, hold on. Let's just tweak it. White blood cells and cancer cells is his cousin, so we just change it up a little bit. But what happened when they put it inside the little white girl? She had an instant reaction to it, and they said she got sick for a few days. That's a foreign DNA, RNA to her body. So she went through the inflammatory. They said, then the fever, right? The fever was gone, and then she. So.
That's also the same thing with the flu shot.
Yes, it is. Because when you get a flu shot, depending on which flu shot you get, you're getting pig RNA or DNA put into your body. Just think about all the Muslims that don't eat no pork that's going to get a flu shot. You're becoming the pig. You don't have to eat no pig. You're becoming the pig. They're putting the pig RNA and DNA right into your body. And you online to get it. Huh?
What's wrong with eating a pig?
So,
no comment. That's a whole class.
Comment on that. That's interesting.
What's wrong with eating a pig? All right. All right. I'm gonna say this. Kevin Muhammad. Kevin Muhammad has the best DVD I've seen on that. On eating pigs. Pigs is 999.99% virus. Now let me say this. Let me say this about pigs. I speak from my personal experience. Because the reason why Kevin Muhammad's video is fresh in my mind, it's like a 4-part DVD series just on pig by itself. What happens to the pig when you eat it, step by step throughout the body, how it erodes the brain, and just everything. But I just seen him at the Locks conference, and he gave me the copy for free. We were supposed to be doing some trade, some barter, but he left before we got to do my end of the barter. So if you're out there, Kevin, I still got your credits, whatever you want. But my experience with the pig is I was never a big pork eater in the first place. Like, I always had a natural aversion to pork. So anytime they cooked chitlins in the house, I left. I never ate pig ears, pig feet, never. I never tasted that stuff ever in my life. But I definitely had me some bacon and eggs. Thanksgiving, I definitely had me a slice of ham on my plate. But other than that, I never ate pork. Like, I couldn't stand, like, chitlins just bring the gag reflex as soon as they start cooking it in my house. It was just like, I'm sorry, you're not throwing that out? We're eating that? Okay, Chinese food for me tonight, right? Like, I couldn't do that. So, and then I had the older, you know, we all got older cousins, or some of us, you my generation, coming home from jail. You know, they newly converts to the 5% nation or newly converts to Islam, so they coming home like, you can't eat the swine because the swine pollutes your mind, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm about to go finish off selling these cracks, but, you know, I'm just trying to let you understand how to keep your mind free because we God out here, okay? So we don't eat the swine. But I'm like, okay, look, I hear you. On my way to school, though, I'm going to grab this dollar sandwich, ham and cheese, nice tall 50-cent juice. It's gonna happen. But my dad had a trailer house in North Carolina that we used to just like go on vacations, whatever, in the summertime, whatever. And one summer we went down and a pig farmer moved in next door. So that summer I got to see firsthand, because I had all this stuff in my mind filled up from my older cousins. My brothers and them, they lived upstate New York, so they ain't had none of that in their mind. It was only me. I'm curious about the pig. So I used to be out there just watching the pig. So I would watch the pig eat shit, vomit up the shit, eat the vomit, take a shit, eat the shit, go to sleep, in the vomit and the shit. Wake up the next day, do it all over again. So then I started talking to the pig farmer about it. He thought it was funny. But the pig farmer didn't eat no pork either. It's like, mental note. My man who sells the pork don't eat no pork. He's like, nah, you crazy? These things don't even have pores on their skin. Toxins is made to go into pigs, but it don't come out. They're like a germ bank. So as soon as you eat them, you got everything. And the people was like, oh no, but if you cook it, you kill all the bacteria and the viruses. That's cool. So then you're eating a plate full of dead bacteria and viruses. Like, why would I want to do that? So after that summer, there was no more pork for Minister Enqi. Like, I was still on everything else, the Pepsi, the candy, the popcorn, whatever. But there was no more direct pork. Period. I was done with pork. I was like, okay, this is interesting. An animal that doesn't have pores. So I didn't hear about Yakub. I didn't hear about no grafting, none of that yet. But I was like, somehow this is unnatural because all natural animals have pores. So that the toxins can come out. Okay, so the purpose of that animal is to keep the toxins in for some reason. So there's a million reasons why you don't want to eat no pork. It's loaded with viruses.
Now, with baby formula, also babies are taking in the DNA of the animal too.
Correct.
What is that?
Baby formula. Because they got the foreign proteins and all that stuff that they put in the baby formulas.
How long would you recommend for a woman to breastfeed her child? Like, just like to avoid the baby formula period? I
would say, ideally, I would ask a woman to stretch out and try to get till 2.
I never stretched her, she was 2.
Yeah.
2 years.
Because I got children, a bunch of them, and all my children, you know, I can see how what we instituted worked. So some of them is not sharp as the other ones. You know, they had that Chinese food, like, we missed the boat with you, baby. I still love you, but like my daughter Amber, that I named the Amber Institute after, she just they doing a parade for her. She's the first 5th grader to ever read like 1 million words. Because you know, in school now, they catalog and chronicle all the books you read, how much words is in each book, and all that stuff. She read 1 million words. She in the 5th grade, so she's sharp. So my other children just like,
they'll get there.
Yeah, they have other talents.
So they would formula.
But she was breastfed.
I'm not talking about Amber. I'm talking about the other kids.
Baby formula. Baby formula.
I grew up in the Caribbean, and people used to breastfeed their children up to 4 or 5 years old.
The older the better. The older the better. But we got a lot of stuff going on in our minds. This is why we have to have sexual conversations. So a lot of times we try to avoid the sex conversation because of how we've been indoctrinated to even fear our own sexuality. So the main thing that most women deal with is, like, it was a girl that lived in my building on the 1st floor, and everybody accused her of, they even called the people on her, ACS, up in New York, was ACS in New York, of sexually abusing her son because he was 5 and she was still breastfeeding him. Like, yo, dude, big, like that's a, you know, that's a breast in his mouth, like.
But you know what's funny?
Then she outside with it like homeboy like this tall, pulling the joint out, like it was just. we not there yet. You know what I mean? We're not there yet.
My nephew
but
walk out and just stick
Right.
It's the breast.
And that's how, but you know, that's how she was running her house. But it didn't conform well to society. Like breastfeeding, period, is frowned upon. Even if you got an infant, you know, it's like, so, you know, it's.
You know what's funny?
Will we be, I know animals don't drink milk a lot of times after they're a certain age.
Right, after they get off the breast.
Would it be a problem for us drinking breast milk as adults?
No.
I mean, like, why wouldn't it be mass produced? Or would that be?
Hold on. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Hold on. You can get breast milk.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's just not popular.
But
there's certain nutrients that's in breast milk that you can't find nowhere else but men's testicles. So it's like you're going. Got your options laid out. You know, but our ancient, when we look back and we talk about the Egyptians, the Sumerians, things like that, they had women that they kept virgins and pure. I got you. Abundance one, go in. But they had women that they kept pure specifically to breastfeed. They were virgins and they was on a specific diet, and all they did was breastfeed. Yeah.
On the plantation, they used to have African women breastfeeding the white people.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say that for one.
That's where the born again virgin came from. It's like, hold on, you're not a virgin, but you're born again. Okay, I got you.
I was gonna say for one, that's, you know, depending on who you get the milk from, it's gonna determine on the nutrients you get too.
Yeah. Correct. Right. The diet and all that stuff.
Diet too.
And genetics. So that's why they had the black folks breastfeeding their babies.
The other thing is, I don't know if I showed you or not. They had there's a white woman breastfeeding her white son who was about 7 or 8 years old, and he was standing up on a stool right here, and they had it on front of a magazine cover. You know what I'm talking about? And she had something on over top of like a cover or something. Yeah. So I mean, he was like 8 years old.
The longer you get breastfed, the better.
He was still 8.
I was breastfed till I was like 3. And I was mad. Like, I had a relationship with my mom's breast. She had big breasts, and then she got a breast reduction. I was the only child for a long time. I used to go to sleep every night. I was uptight. Like, I didn't forgive her for a long time. I was like, really? You got rid of it.
How does a virgin produce breast milk?
But no, that's why I said born again. That's where the concept of born again virgin was at. Because they wasn't virgin, but then they was.
People can produce breast milk. Women can produce breast milk. You can have children. People cut here to have children. So a lot of people don't understand that women can produce milk at any time. It's just certain things that you have to do. Also, breast milk is made mass produced. That's why they have breast milk banks. The problem with that milk is that milk has been heated, so it's really no good anyway. And so I just wanted to add that.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can get it. It's out there.
They got banks for everything.
Yeah. Anything genetics, they got a bank for it. It's on deck. It's for sale. If you grow your hair long enough, they'll send you a couple of stacks for some hair. Because they can't duplicate black folks.
Is that where, when you talk about the banks, is that where some women get their leaves from? That's actually coming from the
hair
bank?
No, the hair comes from, well, some women is smart enough to sell their hair. But some people is foolish. Like, you have stuff online and it'll say, donate your hair to the cancer place, whatever. So you send them your long hair free, then they turn around, put that joint in a plastic bag, and that's on deck for $500.
And sometimes they make the girls say it anyway.
Yeah.
And sell it. And they ain't get none of that.
We was just
all
talking.
the time.
We just talked.
That's what they do. You a commodity. This body is the wealthiest. This is it right here. Everything is in the black body. They want this. Everything is for sale. But we broke because we don't know that. So we looking for all kinds of other ways to get money besides thinking about our body. This is the most valuable thing. So one of the things I try to tell people on the road is we got to change the way we think about our blessing. Like, people say, oh, I'm like, for instance, I use Rick Ross for example. Rick Ross is the easiest example. Rick Ross averaged 2 strokes and a heart attack a year. Rick Ross always coming out the hospital off a stroke or something, right? But his whole thing, if you listen to the music, is he's so successful because he blessed from God because of the money he got. And most of us think that way. The blessing is financial. That's not it. That's what white folks taught us, so we could give away our physical wealth in terms of, instead of what we actually protecting what we got, our genetics. So they was the ones who figured out that dominant genes are black. They figured that out. That was their research. Now, whether we had the research before or whatever and they rediscovered it, that's neither here nor there. The white European Mendel, who did all the hybrid science, said the black genes are dominant, the white genes are recessive. Black eyes are dominant, blue eyes are recessive. So they know who you are. That's what microbiology was funded by the Rockefellers for. A, we're going to control the black folks, and the whole stem cell thing is they're trying to get rid of you. But they can't get rid of you until they can find a way to keep reproducing your cells without you. So once they find a way where they can keep reproducing black folks without black folks, the ovens is getting fired right back up again. That's it. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. That's why they had to have an Obama. Every so often they got to infuse some black DNA into the lineage. Keep it going. Right? So there's a new book coming out soon. Where I'm gonna have all this stuff in the book. All right. Available now. We have the prostate herbs, the uterus herbs. We're doing some wonderful things in terms of shrinking fibroids and lowering PSA numbers and all of those things. And that's pretty much it, unless we got some more questions.
You know, I seen what is it, Charles A. Bartman? I watched that yesterday, and it was real interesting how the boy was talking about he wanted to when the scientists came, he said he wanted to authenticate it. So I guess they would, he would always get paid off her.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to do it.
Well, even now you see the white women. That's why I went through the beginning of the Did you miss the beginning?
No, I was
You seen the fat butts?
Yeah, I see. But
that's why we losing the genetics.
So he was trying to authenticate it. He was trying to get her paid. And the sad part was, she just didn't want to go along with the game. And he was treating her. He was treating her nice, but he's like, yo, I can't. You don't want to do anything. Yo, I'm done with you. And he let her go. And then they end up getting it for free. Well, not free, but for a whole lot. And she didn't even benefit from it.
Rape. That's what all that's about. Rape is about stealing genes.
That was sad.
Rape is about stealing genes. That's what that's about. And then, if you know the law of resource go back to the land. Land property ownership goes back to the first people that lived on that land. Those are the people that owns or has the rights to the particular part of the land. So now, when you rape a group of people, you get to tie yourself in. That's how Europeans move all around. Wherever you find Europeans, that's who they are. Europeans in China is Chinese.
So how do we do that trust on ourselves? That's no plan.
404-457-0844. We got that. So just hit us up and we got the paperwork on that.
In the beginning of the class, you talked about, I think you said like 15% of women may have that.
The BRCA 1 or 2 gene. Yes, ma'am.
BRCA. Now,
and the 85% of women that have breast cancer do not have any genetic predisposition to breast cancer.
Okay.
So that's the flaw, so to speak, with that theory about breast cancer being genetic.
All right. Now my question is: suppose you have that gene. Now I think they're removing the breast. I could be wrong.
Okay, hold on. Let me add another part to that. This is what I should have added to it. I'm glad you asked that question. The other part to the flaw in that theory is not only is it only 15% of women that have genetic predispositions to breast cancer that get breast cancer, but every woman that has the BRCA 1 or 2 gene doesn't get breast cancer. So it's not even like having the gene is a guarantee you'll get breast cancer. So then the problem is outside that. The problem is you have to have the virus, some sort of virus, you have to have some sort of inflammation, you have to then create the internal terrain for the genetic mutation to be able to do what it needs to do. You have to flip the on switch for it. So when you go through the research, you'll see that all cancers have a virus that causes them. So the virus that specifically causes breast cancer, if they found it in 60% of the breast cancers they remove. It's RNA and DNA from mice and rats.
But they remove the breast, right?
Well, they remove the breast, right? The tumorous or the cancerous part of the breast. But when they search it, after they remove it and they examine it, they find in rat and mice RNA and DNA in it. So that's their contribution to our society. Mice and rats. All right, we know cows, they got mad cow disease, right? So we know that the birds have avian flu. We know the swine, the pigs have swine flu. Rats and mice have MMTV. Matter of fact, let me see if I can pull it up online. There's a bunch of research available. And white folks, they knew about this for 80 years already. So, I mean, they're just keeping it from black folks. Let me see.
You don't know?
It's coming back on. All right.
Thank you.
There it goes. HMTV, right there. HMTV. Human mammary tumor virus. And what it says, inflammatory breast cancer. So you always have to have a trigger before you go through the stages of illness. That's why I put the 5 stages of inflammation and the 5 steps of inflammation there, because those are all key to understanding how cancer starts.
You don't have to have your breast cut off, no matter how bad it is. It can always be regenerated, right? Like
anybody's body can be healed, or you can reverse an illness. But the further along the illness gets, well, actually, you know what? Let me not say anybody can, because what happens is you get tissue damage. So that's why, like, I guess that book is sold out. But the book, the book before last I wrote is Detox and Regeneration, because a lot of times we talk a lot about detox, but we forget the regeneration part. So, like, if you see an old movie with like a war movie, they show after the war is finished, like where all the bombs and the gunshots and the shells from the tanks that hit the city, the buildings is all destroyed. That's how somebody's body look on the inside after it's getting ravaged by illness. So all that stuff in there, even if you could pull out some of the stuff, it's crazy. So the further along with the illness, like my aunt had stage 4 lymphoma in her, in her lymphatic system. She had cancer in her lymphatic system, stage 4. We reversed it. I just helped a sister. She had cancer in her lung and in her bones, stage 4. But here's the thing though. The further along the illness, the more discipline is required. And the discipline part is the reason people are sick in the first place. So a lot of times I tell people that they need to go see white folks. Like, just because you can pay me for a consultation don't mean you're going to be my client. Because you might mess up my statistics.
What about all of
you
that?
Still eating chicken, there's nothing I can do for you. You got to be willing to give all that stuff up overnight. Like, for the average person, you don't got no problems. Then it's like, okay, well, we could gradually make some changes. Boom, boom, boom. You got stage 3 cancer. Your last piece of chicken was your last piece of chicken. Like, there is no more chicken, no more bread, there's no more milk, there's no more orange juice, there's no more broccoli, there's no more spinach, there's no more mushrooms, there's no more meat, there's no more fish, there's no more soda, there's no more coffee, there's no more cigarettes.
So what can you eat?
Plants.
Alright, what about those people who have been sick and they take 26 pills a day?
Well, they probably have, most of them, I mean, most people that's sick anyway have liver problems. But the people loaded up on all the pills, their liver's probably like all but gone.
But is it different or harder to help those who have
Yeah. Yeah, because the liver is your body's doctor. That's your body's doctor and alchemist. And it's the body's fat burner. It's the body's personal trainer, all that. That's why the liver's the biggest organ. That's the star of the show in your body. That's the guy that's responsible for getting rid of fat, bacteria, viruses, cellulite, like you name it. The liver is supposed to do it.
So what's the limit for them?
Well, I got a compound, and in the name of the compound is Life. I think I got some up front. But one of the main things I put in it is milk thistle. Milk thistle is good for the liver, but milk thistle has to be combined with the right other plants to get it to do what it's supposed to do. That's where the problem with herbs and do-it-yourself herbs come in. Like, cause we hear, okay, dandelion good for bacteria, so now we load up on dandelion, but we're not putting all the stuff that's supposed to go with dandelion.
All right. Say right now the doctor tells me I'm dying of stage 17 cancer, right? After you leave today, I might only get to get you on an email or like, how do I get better?
You can't get in touch with me either.
Oh!
That's unnecessary roughness. Let's start the answer to that question with unnecessary roughness. But I have a new solution to that. Everybody can call Jason 215-200-5566 and you can get Jason all the time. Yes.
It's kind of fast. That's a
But
215.
Yeah, that's absolutely local.
I might find them.
Yes, 215-200-5566.
Mine will start getting the errands on my own email.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Aaron rolling. I'm supposed to get Aaron. I just gotta get Aaron's watching football games. Aaron. Okay, good. But he missed the whole class. The game probably over now, so now he on his way over here, right? Yeah, we're gonna get him. But yeah, so you can get Jason. But the whole thing, the first thing with trying to beat or reverse cancer anyway is containing it to wherever it's at. Because most people with cancer die from metastasis. Once the cancer starts spreading everywhere, you got inflammation everywhere, disrupting the blood flow, and just getting crazy. So
look, I'm dying of this cancer, right? And I'm already up to 26 pills a day, right? And like, what am I supposed to do? Stop taking 3 pills a day? Like, how does it, you know what I'm saying?
well,
I'm trying to figure out
we start.
how I alleviate the real form what to do today.
Well, it depends. What I do is, that's why we do the diagnostic. So I see the person, sit down with them, take a look, but then I set up a specific program for the person because everybody that got cancer, they got it a different way. You know, it's somehow you got a different bacteria or virus that sparked your inflammation. Then you got different situations with your internal terrain. You know, whether you drinking alcohol, whether you smoking tobacco, whether you just can't get enough fried chicken, something going on with you. So we gotta see what that is. Then we gotta see where the damage is in the body and what specific areas we need to rebuild up. That's why in that white book up there, Black Genetics, the first Black Genetics book, I put what each body part is made out of. So that way, if you know. Oh, man. Believe it or not, that's white boys on motorcycles. We hear that, we think that's black dudes. Yeah. I dropped the top of my whip, man. But so if you want to rebuild a specific area of the body, you got to know which minerals you got to get into that area of the body. Then you want to know which plants have those minerals in it. So I got a lot of the compounds based on that because most people is lazy. They don't want the information. They just want somebody else to do it for them. I'm gonna say, I need to build up my blood. What you got for that? Like, I got books. No. What you got for that? Okay, well, I got the blood electrified. That's how you get your copper, your iron. Build it up that way. So it really is specific. I gotta put something together for each person. But in general, there's certain things that everybody with cancer needs to start doing immediately. Like eliminating all that stuff they're not supposed to be eating. Because once you remove the terrain, you remove like 80% of the problem.
But when you say stuff that you're not supposed to be eating, you also say broccoli, all these other different things. Most people would think that's a vegetable that you're supposed to eat.
Well, here's the thing. This is why I say, for the most part, we go in stages. Like if we eating, basically, if somebody you know got cancer and they eating Church's chicken, they can eat all the broccoli they want. That broccoli, no matter what's in the broccoli, no matter how much nitrogen is in broccoli, it's still going to be 100 times better than what they think. So it's still going to provide some degree of relief from off their body from where they at. But nitrogen is one of the things your body needs, like cashews. Cashews is high in arginine, which is nitrogen. So cashews produces a lot of nitrogen in the body. So these viruses and bacteria, they need nitrogen to live. They need it. So when you put a lot of oxygen in the body, it starts wiping them out. In fact, cancer cells go back to normal cells in the presence of oxygen. So you got a lot of people that got the bread. They have oxygen treatments and they deal with cancer that way. So I got the Mamatomics. One of the reasons why the Mamatomics is so powerful is because it stabilizes oxygen in the body. So that's the two main ingredients: stabilize oxygen and stabilize hydrogen.
So then you see the high intake of antioxidants.
Antioxidants, yes. Antioxidants is a little bit different than oxygen. What oxygen does is oxygen destroys bacteria and viruses. What antioxidants do is they destroy the chemicals, right? Free radicals, but free radicals are not necessarily bacteria and virus. Bacteria and virus releases free radicals into the body, which are positively charged chemicals, like cytokines, the ROS, the reactive oxidative species, stuff like that. So the antioxidants will couple with those things and pull them into the lymphatic system or the urinary system to come out of the body. But that's not going to necessarily destroy bacteria and virus. So sometimes people think that if they load up on antioxidants, they get rid of bacteria and virus. That's not the case. You got to put some strong herbs in there to get rid of bacteria and viruses. What kind of diet would that be? Like all fruit? You mean a diet of all fruit and no vegetables? No fruits and no vegetables? Yeah, they can survive, but not that long. Not that long. They're gonna have some They're gonna, you know, them little guys gonna eat them up. Yeah, they're gonna eat them up. Golden seals are the most powerful herbs. Is Minister Enqi's compounds. But golden seal in specific, golden seal and echinacea both are herbs that, how do I say this? They're good preventative herbs. So what they do is they help stop bacteria and virus from being able to replicate in the body. So those are things that you might want to have on deck in terms of trying to keep your body free of bacteria or virus or coming down with something. But if you come down with a flu or a virus, they're not going to really do nothing for you. Tea is only good for making more circulation in the body. That's not nothing for that's not to fight no viruses. Tea just increases circulation. The guy that discovered FOT, the Chinese guy that made FOT popular, he made it popular because it kept his hair black instead of his hair going gray. But a lot of times we have gray hair. One of the reasons is poor circulation. Another one of the reasons is copper, or not enough magnesium. There's a lot of different ways. But the reason why FOT helped him is because FOT keeps your blood circulating.
You ever hear the purple plate? Tesla?
Purple plate? Nikola Tesla? Well, Nikola Tesla was into a lot. He was into a lot. So that's where they got the rice frequency done, and a lot of stuff they got from Nikola Tesla. But Nikola Tesla, funny enough, he got all his stuff from Egypt. That's where his stuff, that's what he credited. He said he would have these blackouts and he would imagine he was in Egypt and all this science just came to him. And we let white folks tell us stories like that. Black folks starting to tell us stuff like that. So we love it. It's black folks running around telling you that you don't need to read books. No, you don't need to read books because you can get all the information from the ethers. You can download it. Really. Give your newborn a hammer and a nail. Let's see him build a house.
Right.
Let him download a blueprint. Give him a scalpel. Let him perform some heart surgery. I'm probably going to need somebody to read a few books first. So, but then when we hear stuff like that, and the fact that we have this lazy thing intrinsically, we look for that shortcut. We want to be told that. Oh, you don't need to read no books. You don't need to do no hard work. I don't know. It's going to come to you because you're black. Keep that thing going. That was the case. Less than 1% of Americans in general read books. We would be leading the world in education. But we're not. We're at the bottom of the totem pole. India, China, go to any one of these schools. Almost a guarantee the valedictorian is going to be an Indian boy or a Chinese boy. You know why? Because they still tell their children they need to read books. You need to read some books. Not that fiction stuff. You need to read real books about real factual sciences. So we just got to watch out for some of that stuff. Because a lot of times we get into a position where we have people that come before us and they teach us about getting out from under the oppression of white folks, but not because they want you to be free. They don't want you to be free. They just want you to depend on them instead of the white folks. So they want to replace the white man. They don't want to get rid of the oppression. They just want to oppress. Change the oppressor. That's why I do the information. I put everything in books. Sometimes I make it hard for people to reach me on purpose. Like, hey, I got the books. You gotta do this yourself. That's what I want people to do, because we don't make any progress if everybody depends on Minister Enqi, Dr. SEBI, Dr. Africa. There's only 5 of us. 10 of us tops. There's 9 billion black folks on the planet. In every country you go in, we all dealing with the same issues. So we don't make real progress until everybody know this. That's the key. Everybody got to know this, and then we make the money off of our bodies. We make the money off health. And overnight, paradigm change. Get rid of that.
Then you said that you had a book that broke down the different compounds that you put together to make that happen.
Well, not the compounds. It doesn't break down the compounds. What it does is it shows you what all of the body parts made out. So it shows you what all the body parts made out of. So then you know, okay, like for instance, your like if you got some brain issues, you know your brain is composed of calcium, gold, iridium, iodine, magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, potassium. These are all of the minerals that you got to get in to rejuvenate the brain, right? Some of those minerals, like what? Iridium. Yeah, there's more than 8 minerals we need a day. All right, we need like 80 something minerals every single day to stay on top of our game. All right.
Constitution is used. that mean? Like when they
The
say,
word constitution in terms of, right, that's your makeup.
Right.
That's your physical makeup. So if you have a constitutional weakness in terms of biology, that's a genetic weakness that you inherited from your parents somewhere.
Okay, can that be corrected?
Well, not only can they sometimes be corrected, but all the time they can be avoided or not expressed. Where's Aaron? Don't you? Aaron got to come upstairs. Who's Aaron? Can't leave everybody. Aaron got to come upstairs. He don't want to see everybody after he done missed class for the football game. It's fine. I get it. But yeah, so it just makes it easy.
But what I was saying was, how would you correct it?
Well, you need, first of all, you got to have, your body's not going to allow a deficiency to be expressed. Like for women that have the BRCA1 gene, that mutation is not going to lead to breast cancer unless you have the virus, a virus to agitate, human mammary tumor virus, or well, some other viruses cause it. So if you have herpes can do it, HPV can do it, a couple of viruses, but typically in most cases this is the one that comes from mice. Alright, so you need a virus, you need some inflammation. You also need an unhealthy terrain on the inside of your body. So they're controllables. This is why I put up this, because they are controllables. There are certain things that we can control that's required for the problem. So when you're dealing with your internal terrain, you're dealing with your workout will be like your weather. Your soil is your diet. And then the viruses we can't control. The seeds, those are always on deck. But what we can control are the things that allow them to take hold and lead to fruition. So then you start growing into the sick tree.
So basically, you're telling me that you can create constitution.
Of course, that's epigenetics. You can create them and pass them on to your children.
So
that's in the Bible. The sins of the father will be visited on the children.
So that'd be like, according to like the question I asked you before, like just proteins and starches.
That's all sin.
So let's begin at it.
That's all sin. That's all sin.
So what about starches, proteins, and just food?
Okay, well here's the thing. Let me do this too, because I know that people get confused a little bit too. Vegetables are starches. So we usually refer to starches in the negative, but vegetables are good for you.
Right.
Processed starches are not. And then there's certain vegetables that are natural that are still not good for you because of the way they're processed in the body. Like potatoes. Okay, potatoes is no good for you. It's natural, it's a potato, but it's no good for the body. Because another thing we want to think of in terms of health, and this is the way I teach it at the Amber Institute, is you want to look at how much energy it takes your body to break down a thing versus how much energy you get out of the thing. Just to make it simple. Like you don't spend $5 worth of gas to go to the gas station to get $3 worth of gas. But that's what we do sometimes with our food. That's what we do most of the time. It taxes our body so much that our body has to shut down. That's where the itis come in. So we want to always get more out of the food than our body takes to break it down. So even some things that's natural, it's nothing there.
So
yeah, finish your thought and then I'm gonna go to the book.
When you say that, like certain vegetables are not good, or you potatoes, like genetic makeup of that vegetable.
No, I mean just period. What we get out of it, like a potato. The nutritional value is so low as opposed to how much energy it takes our body to break it down. It just defeats the purpose of eating.
That's not good for me.
Nobody. Nobody. At least not us. Not black folks. That's why I stick to us. Right. So it's not good for us. Our makeup is totally different than white folks. White folks have to keep a ammonia-based body. They need a nitrogen-based body.
So that's why they can eat cheese.
That's why they can eat cheese. In fact, cheese is the only way they can get tyrosine, which is the one of the most important amino acids or proteins your body needs. Cheese is the only way they can get it because they're allergic to certain types of chlorophyll. So their body has an allergic, like how we lactose intolerant. They're intolerant to most of the plants. Yeah. But see, there's different levels of allergic reaction. So unless we sneeze or get hives, that's the only time we register allergy. But you have internal inflammation, which is why white folks always sick. It's chemicals that the plants release that white folks can't be around. You know, so it's a lot of, that's why they always in competition with nature. They're trying to subdue it.
He must have looked it out for it.
No, they garden and they fertilize the ground with nitrogen. So they changing the chemistry of the plants and the soil. That's why the soil don't have the natural minerals in it, because they put the nitrogen in it what they need to go in.
I just want to know, what is your daily diet look like? And is your diet different each day of the week?
Well, I try to keep as much variety as possible. Like, I like to eat.
No, I mean, I want to
so
know.
So Ms. Enqi got an eating problem. I like to eat.
So you, when you wake up at whatever time, do you eat at that time? Like, say you wake up at 7, do you wait until 8?
I don't. Well, pretty much it's regular for me now, so I don't really gotta try. But I don't really eat until like at least like 10:30, 11 or something like that. And I try to keep it between like 10:30 and like around 7 p.m. That's eating time. Right now we on the estrogen fast, so really all month I ain't been eating nothing but like almond butter and cabbage, because that's all I can find in my neighborhood. But usually I have Abundance cater for me, and she brings all kind of dishes. Like she can make lasagna out of toothpicks. So I don't know what she got back there today, but lasagna, exactly.
That's just be lasagna.
Right. So there's no meat in that, there's no estrogen in that, no nitrogen, and it's lasagna back there. So like it's still ways to get all of the things that we're accustomed to eating in without some of the, downsides. Like one of the things
We got lasagna back here.
Yeah, you get full.
You
get full faster. No, look, you get full faster when you eating mineral-rich foods, because one of the reasons why people overeat, like the bigger a person is, they more hungry. That's why they keep eating, because the food they eating usually has no nutritional value. So their bodies still keep asking for more. It's like if you are a supervisor at a construction site, and the dudes on the construction site like, look, boss, we ran out of hammers and nails. We gotta stop building till you bring us hammers and nails. If the supervisor mess up the order and he come back with a few pounds of cement and more planks and more nuts, still no building, dude. We said we need hammers and nails. So now you gotta bring us another truckload and another truckload until you get us the hammers and nails. Then we good. So it's the same as the body. When the body asks you for iron and calcium and XYZ, and you put potato chips and chicken and fish in there, body like, okay, that tasted good. Belch, now you're ready to go again. Because you're still looking for the iron and the calcium and the magnesium, the things that your body originally wanted. So a lot of times we'll eat the Chinese food and some of them things, and we belch and we still hungry. Because our body looking for nutrients. I know women that was so nutritionally starved that they was eating baby powder while they was pregnant.
Wow.
It's like, well, I don't know why I keep eating baby powder, like it tastes good. No, because it's crushed rock, it's minerals, talc powder. So you got minerals in the baby powder, and because you ain't giving your body no minerals no other way, to take whatever it can get. Your body just by any means necessary, Malcolm X style. Like we got to have some calcium and some stuff in there. So give me some things.
How do you deal with pain? Like a person that's in pain.
You just hurt. You hurt. That's it. You in pain. I tried to avoid it.
So,
but
I mean, like, due to an ailment, they're in pain.
Stop.
And you're working on their diet, but
like me, if I'm in pain Like I stepped on a piece of glass and I got a glass in my foot or something. I wouldn't take nothing. I just try to get the glass out of my foot and go to sleep after I get the glass out. And hopefully when I wake up, pain is less, but I'm not getting ready to take no drugs for it.
So there you go, though. Like, I understand some people are addicted to pain pills, but some people kind of need pain pills. So how do you?
We judge it. Like one of the sisters I was helping out with cancer, she had pain pills, and like anybody I deal with medication. First, let me say this: I don't suggest anybody throw away their medication because that could be dangerous. So the first thing is regulating, putting the system in place, getting the person to stick to the system, and then starting to change the body's internal chemistry to the point where you no longer need medication. But like some people have blood issues where they taking blood thinners. If them people throw their blood thinners away, they gonna have a stroke tomorrow. So for instance, like somebody can say, well, you don't need no medication, blah blah blah, and go to my website and I got the herbs and this will straighten everything out. Somebody throw away their blood thinners, they go on your website and order the herbs. Your herbs take 2 weeks to get there. They all blood thinners for a week. They might have a stroke. You know what I mean? And it takes a while for the herbs, at least a month before the herbs even saturate through your circulatory system. So sometimes people might take herbs for a week or two and think they did something. You ain't did nothing. It didn't even saturate through your whole blood system yet. And it takes 3 months to saturate through your whole body. So you got to get the herbs in there. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been eating chicken for 20 years sometimes. We're trying to clean chicken out in 2 weeks. Like, no, it's chicken in there. Right? You got to get that stuff up out of there. You got to put some time in.
Right.
But there's English that and they seem to like that, and it works pretty fast on it. When they have people convalescing in the hospital, they've been there a while.
Yeah. Well, witch's broom is cool, but witch's broom is a powerful astringent. So you just gotta be careful. Some stuff is gonna pull a lot of water out of your body, and for us, we need a lot of water in our body when we're fighting something off. So that's where sometimes subtle differences in physiology might make all the difference. Because if you got a body where you handle ammonia and nitrogen differently, or you might need, they have an ammonia transport system in their body. Like that's totally counter to ours. So some stuff that work for them don't work for us. You know, but then in certain situations, like which might help short term. You know, like powerful astringents like that. But I try to stay away from the powerful astringents because they're good for symptoms, but they're not good for root causes. So my whole thing is attack the root. If I get this sucker down here, there's no branches, there's no trunk, there's no nothing. But once you let the roots grow, even if you chop the top of the tree off, the roots can still keep growing. So that's the problem. You want to make sure you deal with this down here, especially when you're dealing with illness. It's like women with fibroids. They have the fibroids removed, and after like 6 months to a year, they grow more fibroids. So, yeah.
But they also, after a certain age, period ceases.
Estrogen. Sometimes. Even that's not helping right now because we have so much synthetic estrogen. So even after the woman gets older and she stops producing internal estrogen, she's still taking in all of the different chemicals that she's rubbing on her body, all of the xenoestrogens that help those things continue to grow.
That's outside.
It's outside.
Yeah, it's growing area. In the trap, it's going down. It's extraordinary right here. Yeah, we're in the catch-22 because if we close these windows, we have to get naked. So keep it a little bit, you know. Wow. That's good. You got a little Bob Marley, you know, ambiance. You know.
What you think about that?
What, marijuana? Well, you need marijuana. I don't advocate anyone do anything illegal. But you need marijuana. You have an endocannabinoid system in your body. So your body needs endocannabinoids like it needs calcium, like it needs iron, like it needs copper. And if it doesn't have it, you're going to have situations. So it's good to have hemp seeds. You can eat hemp seeds But smoking marijuana is different because once you light it on fire, you change the molecular structure. Then you combine it with the, oh, where's my question, brother? See, you see earlier talking about it. But you combine it with the TMV virus, which is the tobacco virus. There's viruses that are in tobacco. Actual viruses, not tobacco causes viruses. There's viruses that's in tobacco itself. So you combine the marijuana with that and you ingest the viruses. So then we got lung cancer caused by tobacco virus. So most of the white folks, or most of the folks, period, that use marijuana for health or medical issues, whatever, they eat it. That's how you get the real medicinal benefits. And you get the high that way. You gotta eat it. But it's way more potent like that. So you might have one cookie and be like not able to go to work tomorrow. Because I know that from theory. Like this Yeah. Because it take a lot more to make a cook. But then you gotta be careful with that, because it's like, okay, what you use to cook it? Because people use a lot of butter, margarine, fat, like stuff that you're not supposed to have in the diet. So then that's a whole other dynamic.
But same thing we make tea out of it.
Well, the tea is different. With the tea, you get all of the medicinal benefits, but you don't get the high attached to it. So if you're just looking for the health, oh, well, it depends. If you got some of the strong, you know.
He did that.